Supergirl was the perfect movie, and honestly, I think it was way better than the Superman movie. I think the Superman movie was a 7 out of 10 movie. Like, I don't think it was bad, I just think more people were excited to have a Superman that wasn't an antisocial weirdo. Supergirl is everything I wanted it to be, everything I needed it to be. A tragic yet beautiful tale and character study on the struggles to find your identity in a world that has been moving fine without you for years. A beautiful story on the hypocrisies of the world and the ability to hide your trauma in your youth with drugs and parties. And number one, I just want to say I love how self-contained this story is. I think that is the best part about this movie because it gives you time to actually grow with Kara as a character. You actually learn to like her and you actually learn to care about her. One of my main complaints with the Superman movie is that I didn't give a fuck about Superman. I'm sorry, that's just how I felt. It was fun having a nice campy Superman on my screen. You know, the type of Superman that'll go out and save a squirrel and a cat. Like, it was fun having that on my screen. I won't lie. But David Superman, I gave not one, not two, not three, not four single about what happened to him. I cared more about what would happen to Crypto than I did David Superman. It just, I didn't feel connected to him. And it's funny enough that I say that because I felt like David Superman was more Superman in this movie than he was in his actual old movie, which sounds crazy to say, but if you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. He feels more established. He feels more confident in the role. And I do like that. And especially going on that scene, when you see David and Millie talking together as Kal and Kara, it's beautiful because there's a level of undertone that Millie Alcock, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say her name, but there's a level that actress brings to Kara where she's talking to Clark and it's like, he doesn't understand me. As much as people like to say that Superman is the last son of Krypton, the truth of the matter is he doesn't remember it. You know, he was a fucking infant baby when the planet exploded. He never experienced its culture, its science, its music. He's never experienced any of that. Kara, at the very least, got to experience Krypton for what it was. So sure, you can say they both lost a planet, but Kara lost a family. That's just something Clark can't really resonate with. Because in truth, like, this is not a joke, Clark is just a fucking Krypton LARPer. You know, he LARPs Krypton. He LARPs understanding its culture. Keeping that in mind, I think Millie does a great job, like, capturing that undertone of sadness. But she also just does a great job in just making me care about the character of Supergirl, because everyone knows what it's like to not know your place in the world. And I will say, at least in the comics, it's not really the same in the movie, but at least in the comics, the main purpose of Kara going to Earth was to protect and guide Clark. You know, her baby infant cousin who was just sent to this foreign planet, she's going there to protect him. But when she gets there, he's this 30-year-old man who's basically established as like this Jesus-like figure on planet Earth. There is nothing that she can do. There's nothing that she needs to protect. So you gotta think in her head, what's the next course of action? Oh, well, I'm gonna teach him about Krypton. What's that? You said you already learned about Krypton from the hologram of your parents. Oh, well then my sole purpose is useless now. I have nothing to do. And like I said, while it's not the same in the movie, that level of like not knowing your place in the world is still there contextually within the film. Also, quick side note, I'm seeing a lot of people making the critique that they don't like the main bad guy of the film because he feels forgettable, you don't understand him. He's just a villain, just a big bad guy. And I want to say, yes, that is the point of the movie. Krim has always been a C-list, D-list supervillain. You were never supposed to go into this movie thinking like, oh yeah, this is the next Thanos. This is the next Darkseid. This is the next big bad. He's a nobody. This is like if Batgirl got a movie and the main villain was Condiment King. You're not supposed to go into that film thinking like, holy shit, bro. Yo, this Condiment King guy gets serious. Like, no, you're supposed to be like, oh, no, you're supposed to watch it as a self-contained thing. And I think a lot of people have been critiquing the film because it's not this grand scale. It's not Superman and Supergirl, you know, giving back shots to Darkseid or Mongol. And it's like, that's not what this is. And just to be frank, if you go into any James Gunn film and you think that's what you're going to see, you're wrong. Every single James Gunn superhero film has always been a deep dive, a character study into the psyche, into the mind of whatever particular character is being shown at that time. This specific time, it's Supergirl. So you're supposed to care about Crypto because it's not the fact that Crypto is dying. It's not the fact that a dog is dying and they're using that to make you care about the film and have some emotional stake in the movie. That's not what you're supposed to care about. First and foremost, what you're supposed to care about is Kara. Crypto being the last thing that actually connects her to Krypton. Now you might be saying, what about Superman? He's from Krypton, but like I said earlier, Clark doesn't understand Krypton. The whole purpose of the Superman character is that he LARPs. He LARPs being from Krypton. He LARPs the language. He LARPs the culture. He was a baby when Krypton exploded. He doesn't understand what it means to be Kryptonian. Kara does because she was alive. She was cognizant. She grew up on Krypton. And I'm not saying that Superman wouldn't understand where Kara comes from. No, like he lost his people too. He's like the last of his entire race. But that's Superman's trauma. Supergirl's trauma is having that entire race be gone, but she can remember it. To her, she was on Krypton for one moment, and in a blink of an eye, her space pod travels to Earth, and now she's on Earth. And especially when you have like Krypto, who she actually met on the remnants of Krypton, she's going to have a more of an emotional connection in terms of that. She's not supposed to be a Superman clone. She has her own thoughts, she has her own opinions. And I'm going to be honest, I was watching the movie and I didn't really think it was that much. I thought it was a good movie. I enjoyed it, but I didn't think it was like a 10 out of 10 until the last moment where Kara kills Krem. And I think it's a beautiful plot twist. It's a beautiful thing. And after she did that, I was like, that's it. That's the moment. That's the moment I was waiting for to call this a 10 out of 10 perfect fucking movie. Because she's a hypocrite, and that's the beauty of it. Because this whole time she's talking to the girl Ruth, and she's like, don't kill him. You're not gonna feel anything about this. It's not a good thing. And in the background, you're thinking, oh, well, this is just the Superman mindset. Like you're thinking like, oh, she's thinking, what would Superman do in this moment? And it's not kill the guy, it's to spare him and, let justice take its course in whatever shape or form or fashion. And then, she just stabs the guy in the throat. And it's like, this is peak. Like this is what I wanted. And in that moment watching that, it reminds me of this scene from Euphoria, and I'll just play it. This scene right here.
Only thing I know for certain is that there is a right and a wrong in this world. And in between. You're either making the world a better place or you're making it worse. In the end, it's that fucking simple.
Yeah, it reminds me of that scene, and it's like that's Supergirl's mindset. You can criticize her all day for that decision, but at the end of the day, what are you gonna say? Oh, that's not what Superman would have done. Well, Superman's never dealt with that. You gotta remember, Superman is dealing with like, obvious monsters, like giant kaiju, evil bald men like Lex Luthor. Like that's what Superman deals with. He doesn't deal with like genocidal, sexual assault, rape warlords. That's out of his forte. So what would Superman do if he's like thrown against that, like the worst depravity of the planet? And Kara even says this in the movie, like, I don't think Superman's like, dumb or naive. I just think he's lighthearted. He hasn't had the chance to experience what true depravity looks like. If Superman met Krim, what would he do? And I'm not talking about like he meets him in a random encounter. I'm like, if he actually knows what Krim does, if he knows that he's kidnapping little girls to like, them, like what would Superman do? Would he let him live? Would he kill him? And that's such an interesting subject to me, and I think the movie lets you sit with that. If you're really watching it and you're not just like hating on it because like, oh my god, it's a woman, blah blah blah, 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 Milia, oh my god, I can't even watch it. Like if you're actually watching the movie and you're not like some fucking brain dead troglodyte like that's what you're going to think about. It's like there's a lot of subtextual things within this movie that makes you think, and unless you're really watching it and trying to see a deeper meaning in it, then you're not going to care. But if you also just want to watch like a nice little cool Supergirl movie where it's self-contained, she does her own thing, it's a good film. It's perfect. That's what I mean. It's perfect for people who actually care about the character. It's perfect for people who want to think more about the movie, and it's perfect for the simple-minded people. Which is why I feel like it's a 10 out of 10 movie. Without random, stupid, biased judgments because, oh, it's a woman, blah, blah, blah. It's a 10 out of 10 movie, and I enjoyed it. But let me know what you thought about Supergirl. And with that being said, I am Brand the Man, and I hope to see you as soon as I can.